Welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are back today with session 10 of Read With Me, and we are truly excited. We learned at Read With Me 9 that about transparency, about giving into the friendship, into the relationship. So we're super excited. So glad you decided to join me. I am Dolores, and you have landed on my YouTube channel. It is such a blessing to see you guys. I'm so excited that the ones that has returned, those of you that has been following me, and those of you that have liked and subscribed, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We here at Read With Me, we just take 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, and we just dive in deep and we're reading Unstoppable. So we dive deep and we grab the secrets that we feel that the Lord has given to these kingdom leaders out of these great books. Right now, reading Unstoppable by Dr. Cindy Trimm. We are not going to hold off any longer. Let me remove my glasses. I know, so I can read. God is good. But let us continue. We're going to dive right in and just begin reading right where we left off at session 9. We left off on page 1. Let me make sure. Yep, 128. So let's get started. Influences desire the best for the people in their lives, and they generously share resources. So I say shared resources, relationships, and support. Okay, she says, stop keeping score. Katharine Graham never intended to become a publisher, but when her husband Philip Graham died suddenly in 1963, she assumed his role as head of the Washington Post. Wow. One of the nation's leading newspapers. Skeptical onlookers questioned the shy widow's ability to run the company. But over the next 20 years, she became one of the most powerful women in journalism. As she moved in the city's most elite social circles, Katharine Graham gained a reputation as a gracious, stylish host. However, she's best remembered for her ability to connect with people from any walk of life. From the women who cleaned the post office to the men who ran the newspaper presses. She made friends with everyone, regardless of their ability to advance her own social standing. In his book, Never Eat Alone, Keith Ferrizzi reflects on Graham's diverse social connections. Her relationships reveal an inner truth about the skill of reaching out to others. Those who best, page 129, at and it don't, I'm sorry, those who are best at it don't network. They make friends, they gain admirers, and win trust precisely because their immeasurable overturns extend, to everyone. A widening circle of influence is an unintended result, not a calculated one. Oh, wow. As Graham's life reveals, influencers take an interest in the lives and welfare of others. This others orientation sets the tone for all their relationships and ultimately drives their successes. Make it your goal to develop mutual beneficial relationships. Cindy Trimm says, determined to be known as someone who gives generously of their time and energy. Develop a reputation as a person who genuinely cares about others and their success. When you make people feel important, she says they will welcome your insights and guidance, and they'll be happy to connect you with others in their circle. Person by person, you can increase your sphere of influence and your ability to make a positive impact on the world. In the next chapter, we'll look at how your personal brand, yes, you have one, she says, supports or hinders your success as an influencer. Winning action. Asks for feedback, she says. Our ability to gauge how others view us is faulted at best. Your mentors, close friends, and family members can help shed light on how you come across in conversation, both online and in person. Important. Before you ask someone for their honest feedback, might want to be ready for it. Commit to them and to yourself to accept their comments without argument. This isn't a time for justifying why you behave the way you do, she says. The goal of this exercise is to understand how your actions, attitudes, and words make others feel. Page 130. Okay, number 1. Am I a good listener? What, if anything, do I do that makes you feel that I'm not fully engaged in our conversation? What do you think motivates me? Number 4. Are my real life and my online profile congruent? Do they match up, she says? In what areas of my life do you feel that I present myself as less than 100% authentic? Wow. Chapter 8, Brand to Win. The keys to brand success are self-definition, transparency, authenticity, and accountability. Simon Mainwaring. Do clothes make the woman, or does the woman make the clothes? She says, Lady Diana, the people's princess, knew how to captivate a room. From her fashion to her humanitarian activism, she changed the world while fulfilling her royal duties to England. She was married to power, but became a more powerful brand than her husband or the royal house he represented. Although her husband was born into an institution that commands influence, Diana became more influential. She developed an irresistible brand that impacted the entire world, separate and apart from her husband or his family. Lady Diana redefined the definition of elegance. She represented all that was good in humanity and the importance of social interaction. By being the first celebrity photographed with HIV patients, wow, she broke the stigma. She led with a smile and possessed empathy at the time when people needed it most. She has a sympathetic face, her father once said, the sort that you can't help but trust. In the 1980s, AIDS arrived on the world stage. It was a death sentence for those who contracted the virus, a new frightening disease because there was no known cure for it. People believed you could catch AIDS from touching someone who had it. Ignorance fueled such fear that the shame and shunning was nearly worse than the disease. But, page 132, all that changed on April 19th, 1987, when Princess Diana opened the first unit in the UK dedicated to treating people with HIV/AIDS. Her televised visit dispelled myths and challenged propaganda through the compassionate and courageous act of a gloveless handshake with a patient. How awesome. She changed people's perception of the disease forever. She brought life to the world as an influencer. She optimized the impact social media influencers aspire to achieve today. While her royal duties required a constant state of media attention, she was always poised, graceful, and engaging in front of the cameras, often struggling behind closed doors with loneliness and depression. She used her brand to bring attention to the cities of the world and the crisis of the world. Many celebrities and iconic personalities understand the power of a personal brand, from Oprah Winfrey to Martha Stewart to former First Lady Michelle Obama. People whose lives are lived in the spotlight are extremely conscious of the image they project. In fact, in many cases, it is that image, their reputation, that helped them rise to such incredible positionings of power and influence. Even if you have no desire to be a celebrity, politician, or social media superstar, she says you'd be wise to recognize what an asset your personal brand can be in terms of your ability to influence others. To be clear, branding isn't only for celebrities, and it isn't about logos, letterheads, long beards, or the type of clothes you wear. Your brand is the total package. It sums up the impression people have of you. Your brand is how people perceive you, who you are, what you stand for, and what you value. Brand consultant and blogger Jeremy Gardner notes that this total package establishes the relationships that determines how you interact and are received by those around you. A brand is how we emotionally and intuitively relate to a specific product, organization, or idea. A brand is pointing, page 133, to something deep inside of us that lives somewhere at the intersection of intention and reception, and the inverse reputation and intention. If we apply this thinking about brand to people, then a personal brand contextually refers to how we relate to a specific person. Imagine your brand as a building standing at the intersection of your intention and others' perception of it. What does it look like? Did you build it yourself? Or did you move into an existing structure? Wow. Have you purposefully and carefully designed it? Is it warm and inviting? Or do you have a sorry, we're closed sign hanging in the window? Oh my God. If you haven't thought of much about how others see, and more importantly, remember you, it's time. Authenticity is essential. The most exalting thing you can do is to be inauthentic. Okay? Any morrow. Okay? You have quite a bit of control when it comes to how people see you. But as we've discussed in previous chapters, manipulating people's perception of you by pretending or persisting a false, larger than life image, she says, will only backfire. The best, most effective, and profitable way, and in my book, the only way, she says, to create a personal brand that sticks is to share the real you. Some advertisers may extravagate products. Getting twisted on this word. Exaggerate products. Features to entice people to buy, but branding experts know that inauthenticity can kill a brand. Wow. Think of the last time you purchased a brand name product at the grocery store because its advertising suggested it was fresher, healthier, or even tastier than its competitors. Your perception influenced by marketing convinced you to what? Try it. If the product lived up to its brand's promise, wow, you probably told someone about your happy discovery, but if the product fell short of its promise, page 134, wow. I bet you told quite a few people and maybe even ranted about it on Facebook or Twitter. And you may never purchase anything in that brand's family of products again. Wow. Similarly, a personal brand can help you stand out in a crowd. It makes you memorable, demonstrates your value, and gives you an edge over your competition. While those all admirable goals for your brand, she says, first and foremost, your focus should be on establishing an authentic brand. When people get what they expect, they aren't disappointed. When others feel that you are genuine, wow, in the way you represent yourself, you instantly establish a reputation for being trustworthy. So keep it real, she says. Remember, personal branding is not about creating an artificial veneer that hides or overshadows your true self, nor is it about changing who you are to make others happy. The goal is for people to know the real you by your reputation. When someone who has read your blog or listened to your podcast or followed your posts and tweets meets you in person for the first time, there should be no disconnect. Rather than meeting a stranger, the congruency between you and your brand should make them feel as if they're meeting an old friend. An authentic personal brand is an irresistible magnet that will attract people and opportunities to you. Just as transparency builds trust and connection in your personal relationships, it is an essential element of your personal brand. An authentic personal brand is an irresistible magnet, as I said, that will attract people and opportunities to you. She says, and because it is aligned with every aspect of your life, it empowers you to become who you truly want to be. How great is that? Okay? Brand from the inside out. To be authentic is to be true to your personality, spirit, and character. It's the outward manifestation of your core values as expressed in your lifestyle, relationships, and professional conduct. Page 135. An authentic brand is built around your own unique identity, a process that requires you to strip away any artificial facades or anything that doesn't fit who you want to be. The brand begins with the story of you, the experiences that define you, the lessons you've learned, and the ways those lessons shaped your values and beliefs. Explains Susan Bates in her book, Discover Your CEO Brand. Once you understand the essence of your brand, you will be able to communicate it to the world. It will become a powerful force, she says, creating positive results. Building an authentic brand begins with identifying the core values that anchor your identity. You may find it helpful to review the core values you identified for yourself at the end of chapter 2. With your core values in mind, use the following questions to distill your brand down to its essence. What is your purpose? Why do you exist? What problem are you here to solve? These are great questions. Wow. Who do you want to serve? These are weighty questions, but part of the branding process is using these deep convictions to express who you are. What is your vision? What do you want for your life? What do you hope to create, write, or build? What are you most excited to accomplish? Whom are you most passionate about helping, teaching, or influencing? What are you known for? What do people come to you for help for with? What are you better at than anyone else? What do you receive the most compliments for? What is your mission? What is the guiding principle that enables you to know if your actions are aligned with your core ambitions, visions, purpose, and aspirations. Before we go on, what I want to do is I want to repeat these 4 major questions. I want us to challenge ourselves to write down these major questions, right? Excuse me. Write down these major questions. And when we have our quiet time, our meditation time, that time where we sit still and ask the Lord to talk with us, take a look at those questions and honestly answer them using the transparency method that she shows us in the book. So I'm going to repeat them now before we go further to page 136. Okay? The first question was, what is your purpose? It's number 1. 2, what is your vision? Number 3, what are you known for? Number 4, what is your mission? I think this is going to help us, okay? All right, so let's continue. The answer to these questions will form the foundation on which your brand is built and bring clarity to your value, page 136, adding proposition once you've established this footing. Resist the temptation to deviate from it because you will be pressured to compromise yourself in small ways every day. Understanding the importance of authenticity will help you stay true to your brand. Building a powerful brand. It's important to build a personal brand because it's the only thing you're going to have. Your reputation online and in the new business world is pretty much the game. So you've got to be a good person. You can't hide anything. And more importantly, you've got to be out there at some level. Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay, Gary didn't set out to be a multi-millionaire. Growing up in New Jersey, he helped his Russian immigrant parents run the family liquor store and began reading Wine Spectre magazine when business was slow. Gary was fascinated by its nuance descriptions of wines, but because he was too young to drink legally, he had to train his palate backwards. Wow. People thought he was crazy when he began sampling the flavors associated with wine like wood and minerals, but his persistence paid off. In college, Gary established himself as a local wine expert by tasting every wine that entered the store. Wow. Customers came to rely on his no-nonsense advice and discerning palate. Within 5 years, the store's profits grew from 4 million to 60 million. That's some growth right there. Gary took his insight to the internet and launched Wine Library TV, a website committed to educating viewers, debunking myths, and reducing the elitist attitude of the wine industry. Since the site's launch, he has attracted a cult-like following of more than 80,000 views a day. Gary said that wrong, the power of a personal brand. While he didn't intend to become famous, the choices he made to leverage his passion and personality set an example for anyone hoping to build a personal brand. Gary's story illustrates, page 137, three components of powerful brands. They are distinctive. Having a brand requires you to have a point of view, right? That may sound easy, but being distinctive without being odd takes confidence and discernment. Remember that the brand building is not the same as image building. Your goal is to bring out your best attributes rather than change yourself to meet others' expectations. They are relevant. Strong brands connect to what others value. Gaining relevance is a process. It starts with questions like, what do they want? What do they need? And why do they expect? Just as Gary trained his palate in reverse, you can become relevant by thinking in reverse. As you move out of your own world and into your audiences, you'll be able to connect your skills and abilities to their needs and interests, she says. But specific about where you seek relevance. You can't make a connection with everyone. However, so select your audience strategically. Remember that relevance is reflected in the precipitations others have of you and what you do. They are consistent. Consistency builds trust, a hallmark of a strong brand, just as consumers expect Coca-Cola to taste the same every single time they open the bottle, right? They depend on you to add value to your work and relationship time and time again. As you begin building your brand, consider how distinctive, relevant, and consistent you are. Be distinctive, she says. Fashion icon Daphne Guinness knows how to stand out from the crowd. The one of world's leading collectors of haute couture, her eccentric sense of style often shocks the fashion world. From her trademark black and white streaked hair to her outlandish shoes. Wow. Grunis' reputation, let me call her by her first name, Daphne's reputation revolves around her devotion to beauty at any cost. Page 138. While many question her singular, lavish focus, Daphne uses her platform to promote the seamstresses, lace makers, and leather workers who create these wearable works of art. In a sea of aspiring fashionistas, her support for those talented artisans sets her apart from the crowd. Daphne has mastered the art of personal branding and uses her reputation to help others. Her willingness to stand out from the crowd provides insight from anyone hoping to establish a personal brand. Remember that a brand is personal because you have the power, she says, to define it. Brand building is not image building or packaging yourself to win with popularity. Rather, it showcases your unique attributes and demonstrates how you add value to your relationships. workspace, and community. Daphne identifies herself through fashion, but your personal brand should define who you are and how you make a difference. William Aruda and Christine Dixon argue that a personal brand is vital to your success. In today's workplace, creativity has triumphed loyalty, individuality has replaced conformity, proactivity has replaced hierarchy. Excuse me. You don't wait for job assignments, you create them. Those who succeed are aware of their talents and confidence, even though, I'm sorry, I said that wrong, and are aware of their talents and confident enough to use them to stand out consistently, deliver value to their teams. Aruda and Dixon suggest 3 principles to help you stand out from the crowd. Let's go over them. Principle 1, stand out by standing for something special. Instead of waiting for someone to discover you, build your reputation by delivering exceptional service. Entrepreneur and best-selling author Seth Godin explains it this way. Most people believe that if they just get their needle sharp enough, it'll magically leap out of the haystack, page number 139, and land wherever it belongs. If they don't get a great job or make a great sale or land a terrific date, it might just be because they don't deserve it. Having met someone successful people, she says, having met some of the most successful people, I can assure you that they didn't get that way by deserving it. She says people are buying only one thing from you. The way the engagement, hiring you, working with you, dating you, using your product or services, learning from you makes them feel. Okay? So how do you make people feel? Could you make them feel better, more? Could you create the emotions that they're seeking? Be proactive. Gain a reputation for your unique attributes or for the exceptional service you provide. Principle number 2, be your own boss. Instead of waiting for someone to discover you, take ownership for your success. Even if you can't control the circumstances, you can control your personal brand. Aruda and Dixon remind readers that talents, not titles, bring security. Your skills and unique personal attributes doesn't appear if your company's stock prices plummets. Your future doesn't unravel if an executive who powerfully supported your advancements leaves the company. She says, your personal assets are yours and no one can take them away from you. Take responsibility for your career by using your assets to your advantage. Let your brand, rather than your circumstances, open doors for you. Principle number 3, focus on the ramp, not the ladder. Oh, that's good. Most people think of their career as a ladder. She's absolutely right. With progressive milestones or advancements along the way. They work hard and put forth a burst of energy to get a promotion or secure that position. Page 140. However, in today's economy, it's more fruitful to regard your career as a steady walk up a ramp rather than a jump up the ladder. When you ascend a ramp, you are in perpetual motion and build momentum as you climb. Instead of waiting for outside forces to trigger your advancement, begin advancing now by developing a network of contacts, updating your resume, and pursuing opportunities that showcase your strengths. When you shift your mindset to build your brand and career every day, you will make steady progress to the top. How will you stand out from the crowd? Build your brand by taking ownership for your career is a powerful way to ensure your successes. Be relevant. Think of the last time you met someone who only talked about him or herself. It may have been a friend from high school who recapped the last 20 years of her life, but never asked how you were doing. Or maybe it was an acquaintance at a networking meeting who droned on about his latest project without inquiring you do what you do for a living. Anyone who has spent time with a self-focused person knows the frustrations of a one-sided exchange. As you hone your brand, remember that a brand, though personal, is not exclusively about you. Defining your brand is about moving beyond I, me, and mine, she says. To consider how you can add value to your relationships in your book, Be Your Own Brand, author David McNally and Carl Speck reminds us that strong personal brands thrive in finding ways to contribute and make a positive difference for others. Developing an others focused brand begins with understanding your audience needs. Whether you are a teacher connecting with your students, parents, or a project manager supervising a team of engineers, knowing your clientele will empower you to match, page 141, unique abilities to a specific situation. In the process, you'll become known as someone who listens, connects, and cares. So instead of focusing on your own goals, focus on building multiply beneficially value adding purpose driven achievements oriented collaborative relationships. Oh, that was good. The next time you have a professional networking opportunity, try shifting your perspective from what's in it for me to how can we help each other. It's subtle change that produces dramatic results, she says. When people realize that you're interested in their successes, you'll gain a reputation as someone who is generous, supportive, and resourceful. Wow. Finally, make trust the foundation of your brand. When you make a discernible difference in the life of another, you make a lasting impression and your brand receives the credit. That's good. A deposit in the trust bank, explained McNally and Speck. Every meaningful impression adds more credits that builds towards the establishing of a trusted relationship. Although it may seem counterintuitive, focusing on others is one of the best ways, she says, to establish your own brand. Identifying their needs, pursuing mutual beneficial relationships. Now, building a foundation of trust will also enhance your reputation. Be consistent. McDonald's golden arches are one of the most recognizable symbols in the world. Every day, nearly 69 million people stop for a bite to eat at one of the 34,000 locations worldwide. She says, did the fame come from serving the best food or delivering it faster than others? Sorry, she says no. There are plenty of places that serve a better burger, and even a few who can do it faster, she says. But no restaurant chain serves more burgers. So, why do people return again and again to this fast food giant? In a word, consistency. If you visit a McDonald's in any of the 118 countries where the franchises operates, the burgers, page 142, fries, and chicken nuggets will taste almost exactly the same. That's good and true. Your order will be delivered on a tray or in a bag and handed across a familiar looking counter by someone wearing clothing you recognize. That's consistent. Mm. Quick delivery or familiar flavors in a no surprise atmosphere makes McDonald's a sure bet. Even if the food isn't great, at least you know you'll you'll get what you expect. Consistency is what people want from you too. Not that you have to wear the same outfit every day or have to catch phrases like, do you want fries with that? You don't even have to stay in the same career your whole life. A desire to be consistent doesn't preclude growth or change. McDonald's has certainly seen plenty of growth and change, remodeling locations and adding chicken sandwiches and salads to the menu, for example. But every change is in the line with the organization's family friendly food brand. In terms of your personal brand, being consistent requires you to be who you are really all the time. Your family life, lifestyle, images, words, hobbies, online presence, everything about you should match up with your values, she says. When a friend learns something new about you, their first response shouldn't be, I never would have expected that from you. Rather, even if your passion for, say, skydiving surprises people, they should be able to say, yes, that fits with what I know about you. The same principle applies equally to your career. You cannot separate business life from the rest of your life. When it comes to building a brand, writes Suzanne Bates in Discover Your CEO Brand, to help your network, clients, and potential clients understand and remember your brand the way you want them to, your actions, associations, and attitudes must be consistent with your core values. You have a great deal of control over the way the world receives and remembers you. It starts with knowing who you are and being true to your core values. Leaders have just a little bit more. Leaders have a brand based on authentic values, page 143, they use to influence others. Your brand is your core of who you are as a leader and how you are perceived. Bates explains when you share who you are distinctively, relevantly, and consistently, you build a personal brand that others trust. A trust, the key to increasing your capacity to influence others. We are going to stop right here on page 143. Wow, we have been so fed today. Like, discovering these principles are just mind blowing. We are truly super excited about what she has given us through these 7 chapters. I'm going to briefly just go over, I mentioned them early, the 4 questions that I want us all to take a moment with and answer for ourselves and be true to our core values and true to ourselves, okay, when answering them. The first one is, what is your purpose? Number 2, what is your vision? Number 3, what are you known for? And number 4, what is your mission? Thank you so much, everyone, for reading with me today in this session 10. So I am super excited. I'm thanking all of you guys, even the ones that just come to listen. I appreciate you and hope you are enlightened, just like I am, in discovering these awesome principles to better ourselves, show us our true identity. Let us step up to the plate, right? I'm truly happy for that. And I thank all of you for listening. Until next time, be blessed.